Welcome back to Navigating the Streams. I'm Mike DeLong, and I'm here to tell you about everything I watched in December. I watched 11 movies last month, including 7 movies from 2025, a 3-movie Christmas marathon, and a great 80s classic. As always, I'm giving you my reviews from least favorite to most favorite. Let me know what you think. First up, we have Spinal Tap II, The End Continues, and I gave it 3 stars. I watched Spinal Tap II: The End Continues the day it came out on HBO Max, and though I wasn't expecting greatness, I was still a little disappointed. Nigel Tufnell, David St. Hubbins, and Derek Smalls are back. Spinal Tap is reuniting for one last concert, and things are going as you can probably expect. The lads must get over perceived hurts and find a drummer to make this concert happen. They're also visited by the likes of Paul McCartney and Elton John. So this movie lacks a lot of the laughs of the first one, even though some of the beats are revisited. Or maybe because of that. I think this is because the first movie was a tour, and the different locations allowed for different gags. Being locked in only a few locations limits the possibilities. Some of the cameos work, but not all of them, and the callbacks of previous cast members are unnecessary. This seems like a very negative review, but there are still some things to like, such as the very brief musical portions, and to laugh at, such as Tufnell's choice of backup profession. Spoiler, he did not become a haberdasher. Spinal Tap 2 was a sequel many of us were waiting for. Unfortunately, it doesn't go to 11 for this fan. Next up is Wake Up Dead Man on Netflix, and I gave it 3.5 stars. I'm on the fence about Wake Up Dead Man. I know it's a good movie, but I just can't bring myself to give it a higher rating. Josh O'Connor plays Father Judd, a former boxer who killed a man in the ring, who became a priest to tamp down those feelings and do good. Judd gets transferred to the church of a conservative Monsignor played by Josh Brolin, whose congregation lionizes him, but because of his rhetoric, the congregation has shrunk to 7 people. The Monsignor is killed mid-sermon, and Benoit Blanc comes in to solve the case. So, I like all of the pieces of the movie. I think the cast is great, with the exception of Mila Kunis. She's not doing anything bad, but whenever she came on screen, I thought, oh, there's Mila Kunis, and was taken completely out of the movie. The rest of the cast just works on a higher plane than she does. I like the story of faith and how some people misrepresent Christianity and how other Christians are trying to overcome that. I thought the mystery was great, as in all the Knives Out movies. It looks great, and I love what Rian Johnson did with the lighting. The movie just didn't come together for me. For some reason, I can look at each individual piece and appreciate them, but when I take a step back and look at the whole, something just doesn't look right. Don't let this review prevent you from watching Wake Up Dead Man. I need to give it a second viewing. Hopefully, it'll come together for me then. Next up is Fantastic Four: First Steps, and I gave it 3 3/4 stars. My wife and I watched Fantastic Four, her first time, my second, and it holds up pretty well. It's not the best Marvel movie, but it's not the worst either. I'd probably rank it somewhere in the middle third. It's been a while since I've done a personal ranking of all the Marvel movies. Let me know if you'd like to see that before Avengers Doomsday comes out in December. If you want my full review of First Steps, you can find it in my July reviews video. If you want to watch the movie, you can find it on Disney+. I've got Caught Stealing on Netflix next, and I gave it 3 3/4 stars. Caught Stealing was a fun crime movie with laughs and gunfights. Everything it was advertised to be. Austin Butler plays Hank, a bartender and former high school baseball prospect who finds himself caught in a tangled mess left by his neighbor Russ, a punk played by Matt Smith. He finds himself pursued by Eastern European gangsters, Jewish mafiosi, and the police, all because he said he would watch his neighbor's cat. I found this movie to be a lot of fun. It had a pretty good story, though not realistic the entire time. The actors were good, and the action wasn't bad either. Darren Aronofsky surprisingly directs. I do like a lot of his movies, but this one was lighter in tone and content than much of his past work. This movie is a great way to spend an evening if you want to switch off your brain, laugh, and check out some action. 8-Bit Christmas comes next, and I gave it 4 stars. 8-Bit Christmas is a fun, newish movie that should be added to everyone's Christmas canon. Neil Patrick Harris plays Jake, a man who is trying to entertain his daughter while she complains about not having a phone. He decides to tell her about the time he tried to get a Nintendo Entertainment System for Christmas, but the parents of suburban Chicago went a little crazy, believing video games are poisoning kids' minds. This is a fun movie with lots of laughs and great gags. The acting isn't the greatest, but with a cast of mostly kids, it's good enough. There's some nostalgia here, and it doesn't hurt that it takes place not far from where I live. 8-Bit Christmas is a good addition to your regular Christmas viewing. You can find it on HBO Max. Next up is The Long Walk, and I gave it 4 stars. I watched The Long Walk on an airplane and squirmed, wondering if anyone was watching the movie over my shoulder, and hoping they weren't a child. The United States has gone through some kind of civil unrest and come out the other side a little more fascist. People are struggling, but every year young men volunteer to take the long walk, a televised challenge to walk as far as you can at a pace of 3 miles an hour. If you can't keep the pace, you're killed. Why do these men volunteer for this? Because if they're the last ones standing, they win a huge cash prize and 1 additional wish. The Long Walk isn't for everyone. I wondered why I continued to watch it as it was playing. It's entertaining and the characters are compelling. You follow a group of 4 boys among the 50 or so and watch them become friends while constantly warning them in your head that that's a bad idea. These actors are good, especially the main 2. Judy Greer plays one of the boys' mom, and she's good too. This movie is not for the squeamish though. Most of the murders happen off screen, but several of them do not, and it's not pleasant to watch an innocent get shot in the face. The story as a whole is the battle between hope for a better future and revenge for the wrongs of the past. I won't tell you who wins, but the story to get there is worth the watch. This is a compelling story about not so compelling subject matter. It's worth the watch if you can get through the hard parts. Please like this video and subscribe for future reviews and to find out what's coming to a streaming service near you. Next up is Jay Kelly, and I gave it 4 stars. I was hesitant to watch Jay Kelly because I'm not the biggest fan of the director Noah Baumbach, but I feel this movie is different from his earlier work, and I quite enjoyed it. Jay Kelly, played by George Clooney, is a star in crisis. His staff is at his beck and call, even when he contradicts himself. He says he's alone, but there are people around him all the time. When he chases his daughter to Europe to try to spend time with her, it doesn't work out as he expects, nor do any of his other plans. There's an apathetic view of this movie where we see Jay as a rich man who spends his life in luxury, playing instead of working, and neglecting the important things of life. However, we can put him in another job and see many of the same things. Lots of people overwork themselves at the cost of their families. There's a lot to empathize with that can apply to everyone. I also think that Jay Kelly is a metaphor for the end of your life, the regrets you have, and how you would like another shot to do things better. I also love what the movie does with memory, turning them into films from the character's point of view. The performances are all very good. It's a shame that there are so many good performances this year that it seems like the path to any more nominations is over. The film looks good too. The Italian countryside is beautiful. I think Jay Kelly is a movie to check out, but while you're watching it, don't think about the circumstances of his life, think about your own. Next, I've got Train Dreams on Netflix, and I gave it 4.25 stars. Train Dreams is one of the most beautiful movies of 2025. However, I can see where the story may be lacking for some viewers. Joel Edgerton plays Robert, a logger in the early 1900s that watches the world modernize around him in the American West. He's a bit of a loner, but eventually falls in love, marries, and has a daughter. However, he believes that his failure to protect a comrade will come back and repay him somehow. Train Dreams is a slow movie with lots of landscape shots that make it worthy of Best Cinematography awards. The story and visuals drew me in, but the pacing and long shots of trees definitely has the chance to bore or, at the very least, prevent viewers from connecting to the characters. There are long stretches of scenes with little to no dialogue, except for maybe some voiceover, which works for the most part, but definitely isn't needed in some places. I really connected with the emotion of the movie. Joel Edgerton and the score are working together to take you places. I really recommend you give this movie a try, knowing that there's not a lot of plot or action. It's definitely there, but just not as much as you would expect from a modern movie. It's beautiful to look at, and the emotion it evokes. This is Spinal Tap on HBO Max comes next, and I gave it 4.25 stars. I had the unfortunate experience of watching This is Spinal Tap the day after director Rob Reiner's untimely death. I was happy to rewatch it, but saddened by the circumstance. Michael McKean, Christopher Guest, and Harry Shearer form the core of the rock band Spinal Tap. Rob Reiner plays Marty DeBurgi, a filmmaker documenting their tour on which they revisit their past, suffer embarrassing set malfunctions, and more. Nearly every scene is great, and the rock music Spinal Tap is known for is too, like Big Bottom and Hellhole. I'd pass on their early stuff, though. This movie is legendary for its mockumentary style and send-up of rock bands. So many bands love this movie and connect to the things that happen in it. There are so many iconic and quotable lines, too. If you haven't seen This is Spinal Tap, watch it. You'll laugh your ass off, and it's a great way to honor the late Rob Reiner. Next up is Home Alone, and I gave it 4.5 stars. What more can I say about Home Alone? This is a classic Christmas movie that everyone should have watched 7 times in their life by now. I'm not going to go over the plot. If you don't know it, just go and watch it. Everyone in the movie is at their absolute best, including Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, and Catherine O'Hara. It's hilarious, heartfelt, and an all-around good time, and I'm sure most people watched this movie last month. If you haven't seen this, I hope you're enjoying your Rumspringa. Now go find somebody who has Disney Plus and enjoy the next hour and 40 minutes. And finally, we have A Christmas Story, and I gave it 4.75 stars. A Christmas Story is my all-time favorite Christmas movie. I can't remember a time in my life without it, and I hope I never have to. Ralphie wants a BB gun for Christmas and pulls out all kinds of schemes to get one without asking for it directly. I don't know why I had to explain the plot. It was literally on 24 hours a day on Christmas Eve for over a decade. This movie is set piece after set piece, and they all work amazingly. I don't know how many times I've seen A Christmas Story, but it never stops being funny and it never gets old. The acting is good, but not great. The only thing that pulls this movie down is the singing at the Chinese restaurant at the end. If you somehow missed this movie, first of all, how? Next, sit yourself down and watch it. It doesn't matter that Christmas is over, just watch it. That'll do it for this review video. There was a lot to like last month, and I recommend you check out nearly all of them. If you do, I'd love to hear what you think. If reviews aren't your thing, come back in a couple weeks to find out what's coming to streaming in February. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.